Hi guys, it's been a while since I've done a video, but after a temporary hiatus I've decided to come back with the Train Simulator series. I'll be continuing that for the time being until Football Manager 15 comes out. Obviously I got a bit lazy, I didn't want to continue the series and I much lost interest at that, so what I'm going to do is continue the Train Simulator series, but I've not added any routes off screen. Right. Well, we're going to go on a standard scenario like we always do. The game's not long updated, actually. So, some of this stuff's actually hard to read. I mean, I can't remember which missions I've done compared to the last one. Right, let's go to the I'm looking at the Settle-Carlisle line. I'm not actually sure which one I should do, really. I mean, I've still got the West Coast main line north. I've already done a few missions there. Right, I've added a few locomotives as well. Let's see, I've done the Swift and Delightful, did the Bruised and Battered. I'll go back to the Settle-Carlisle line again. There's actually a mission here where I can play a steam locomotive. Right. What mission should I do? I think I can still do Learning the Ropes Part 2. I mean, I did the first one not long ago. Yeah, if you remember the first part, there you go. Welcome back, driver. The service which has failed or has already now temporarily repaired and moving forward to Appleby without new adjustments. We can now proceed as planned. So, if you remember the first part of this mission, we went through all the routes, so this is going to be a lot different. Here we go. So here's where we are. There we go. Directly ahead is the first speed reduction on the route, where the line speed drops to 30 in place. For over 40 years, the speed restriction is due to the unstable ground and the surrounding landscape due to mining of the local gypsum works. So what I'm going to do is slow down like a responsible driver should. As I was saying before I got distracted, here's where we are. Here's the next task, which is tuck marker 1, and then we've got 2, 3, and the whole thing's going to go until we finally reach Den 2. It's nice to see the game running a bit smooth, unlike the last attempt. Excuse me. A bit under the weather recently as well. So what I'm going to do is slow down a tad bit so I don't over by the speed limit. Yeah, I'm still pulling a load of coal hoppers, which are currently empty for the time being. Again, just like the last episode, I'm going to give you updates every time I pass a top marker, so I'll be oh, here we are. After this side shot, I'll probably be back with you just when I reach the first top marker of the second part of this 3-part mission. I'll do the final run, part 2, in between these 2 parts as well, if I'm up to it. I'll be doing all this before I go out later this afternoon myself. Right, up ahead is the now closed station of Marton, which despite being considered wasn't reopened along with many other stations in 1986. So there's our first truck marker. We're passing through Long Marton station, which closed down. Loads of stations met similar fate in 1986 according to that dialogue. Next truck marker isn't that far away, it's only 2.5 miles away. Let's get another shot of the train passing by with the number of hoppers that we have. I think you can play a steam locomotive on this routine as well. You can play as Flying Scotsman. I'll try and add that to the routine. Just depends on the routine it's on. I haven't done the Great Eastern Main Line yet, but I'll consider that after the next 3 episodes, this one included. Yeah, I've just passed the second top marker now. We are now approaching the picturesque location of Appleby, home of the famous Appleby Horse Fair. In 1970, following the withdrawal of the local stopping trains and the resulting closure of many local stations, Appleby, along with Settle, are the only two to remain open. Wow. Alright, because top marker 3 isn't really that far from the second one, I'm actually going to keep it recording. There you go, there's a passenger train right there. Just waiting for us to pass by, I guess. Just blasting along at like 60 miles an hour and still going a bit higher. I'm assuming this is a station that they want to stop at, or either that or they're passing through. Yeah, so the top marker is not that far from us now. Yeah, there was a water column right there. That's for steam engines only though. So we'll probably be using that when we play steam locomotive later on during this routine. Settle-Carlisle line. There we go. Now south of Appleby, we begin the small drop down to Ormside before starting one of the many 1 in 100 climbs up the summit at East Gill. As we are hauling empty wagons, we should not have a problem, but in days gone by, many heavily laden trains have fallen victim to the relentless climb, especially in poor weather. Oh, so should be glad that you trucks are empty, otherwise we've been slipping down the hill. And if the weather was bad, the rails will get slippery, and the trains just, unless they have sand on the rails, they pretty much got no grip. But just hopeless. They're just hopelessly slipping downhill. So, over the limit. Now approaching the first 1 in 100 climb. We first see Ormside Viaduct closely followed by what is left of Ormside Station, another casualty of the 1950s. So Ormside Station's been closed since 1950s, never opened since. So just passing through the viaduct now, and then there's that big massive climb. Look at the map down here, that's the climb that you've got. It just goes up endlessly. So I'm actually going to put my foot down a bit now, just to make sure. The next turn mark is not for 5 miles. There you go, just about to pass through turn marker 5 now. Just about to pass the former site of Crosby Jarrett Station. Yet another casualty of the 1950s. Driving this modern locomotive with over 3,000 HP, it's hard to imagine steam services having to make so many stops at these smaller halts before trying to get going again on these steep inclines. Well, fancy that, having a station right up at the top of the hill. But that's a bit understandable because when the steam trains tried to leave the station, they had trouble starting because thanks to the steep incline. Now rounding the curve, we approach Kirkby Stephen with buildings recently restored by Settle-Carlisle Railway Trust. Kirkby Stephen has seen a recent small but welcome rise in passenger usage. So, despite the new look of the station now, it's only used by like 10% or so. It's because there's not that many people there looking for this. Still going up the hill by the way, so the climb just isn't finished yet. Now we pass through to Mark 7. After what in the past has been daunting and relentless climb, often known as the Long Drag by ancient men. We now approach East Gill summit, the highest point of Settle-Carlisle at 1,169 feet. Jesus Christ. That is high. Some 1,170 feet high. Believe me, the one part of the M62 is almost as high, is around as high as that. If it's when you approach Yorkshire, around the Yorkshire Pass, so you approach as high as that. Because we're about to go downhill on the opposite side, we're going to slow it down a bit. As we sweep around the viaduct, we approach Garsdale, a station which was formerly known as Hewitt Hawes Junction. The line diverged here to head over the Hawes in North Yorkshire, and is now part of ambitious plans by the Wensleydale Railway to reinstate the extended line. Yeah, sorry, I'll catch you in. So next marker is not for over a mile and a half. So we've got top marker 9 to go. There's still top marker 10 and 11 to go. Then we finally got to stop at Dent Station on the second platform. There we are. Here's the station now. We'll get an overhead shot of our train passing through the Wensleydale village. Yeah, this. So our car just sitting at the front. Yeah, I like this camera angle where you get a shot of the countryside. If I go out with this camera here, I actually get a better shot of the video. I can't tell me really. Alright, since top marker 9 isn't that far, I'm actually going to keep recording. Yeah, so not only passed a passenger train since we recorded this episode. The one that we passed at the Saga doesn't really count. Yeah, if you hear any noise in the background, it's because I'm watching TV. Try and get this episode quickly uploaded just before I go out this afternoon. There you go. Top markers 9 and 10 are actually close together as well. Right, so we've just passed through, presumably it was Wednesday Dale if I pronounced it correctly. We've been passed through that viaduct earlier as well. Well, that top marker 11 isn't that far from top markers 9 and 10 either. So technically all this part here is going to be bunched into one. Oh look, we've got a 13-mile-an-hour barrier as well. So I have to prepare myself to slow down just in case. Once I pass through top marker 11, I'll slow it right down to 30. But considering that we're at like 60 miles an hour, it's going to be a lot difficult for us to do that. I'm assuming Dent Station's not as far. Yeah, Dent Station's not far from top marker 11 either. There you go, high above the valley floor. We are now heading towards Rise Hill Tunnel at 1,213 yards. This is the second longest tunnel on the route. I don't think we've passed through the longest tunnel yet. I gotta look back at the first part of this episode just to make sure. I mean, I don't remember passing through any tunnels when we did the first part. But I'm going to slow my train down now actually to some 30. And because I got to stop at Dent, I have to really do slow it down. Oops. There you go. There you go. God, this tunnel scene is longer, almost as long, or just longer than the 3 football pitches if I'm not mistaken. Probably football pitches is like 100 yards long, so maybe about 12 in that. I'm actually wondering how long the actual longest tunnel is. Probably just a bit longer than this one. Okay driver, it is now time to slow down for the upcoming 30 miles an hour speed restriction at Dent, which is required because of the tight curve through the station. So that's why we got to slow it down to 30. I mean, a tight curve at Dent, I mean, for a small train to get through, I'm assuming that's alright. But when you've got a long train, it's actually a bit more complicated. If you're going through it like 60 miles an hour like I was about to do, then we would have overshot the rails and crashed into the platform, killing a number of people that were standing there. Maybe us included. If anything, this is likely to be on a hill, which makes things a bit more complicated. So it's been a good ride actually. I mean, not as good as the first one, but just wait till we see what part 3 brings us. I've still got to do the second part of the final run as well. Which we played that passenger train, and we only did about 2 or 3 stations before coming to rest. I mean, the second part of the final run will give us twice as long. I'll probably guarantee it, but I'm not going to speak too soon. I'm only sticking to probably for the time being. Alright, just so we don't overshoot the 30 barrier. I'm going to try and keep it at 30, just so I don't overshoot the station itself. I think we still got to stop there. Yeah, stop at Dent. There you go, last top marker. Okay, driver, start braking now as we approach Dent. Where we will be are scheduled for a brief stop at an altitude of 1,150 feet. Dent is officially the highest station in National Rail Network. I can imagine the intense. I can imagine the air up there right now. Oh, there's another train coming through as well. So we'll see that pass through, and then we'll come to a stop. Yeah, it's on the bar line as well. So looks like our fellow EWS 66 is carrying some cement tankers. There you go, I'll talk about with the controls. So I'm not undershooting the station, and at the same time I'm not overshooting the platform as well. I mean, it's quite odd to see a goods train stop at the station, but if it's like for a brief tea break or some negotiations at a junction, I guess it's understandable, because we get something like that at Warrington Banky train station. You know, so, no, it's going to take a while. I will stop here for now, and we'll wait till part 3. I mean, part 3 will definitely come after the final run, part 2, because I've already done the first part of the final run, because that's only a 2-part episode compared to this one, which is a 3-part episode. I'll get the 2-part out of the way before I jump to the 3rd part of this episode. Thank you, driver. We are making a brief scheduled stop here at Dent before departing shortly to make the descent towards Settle. So it's going to be a long ride downhill after on part 3. So it's going to be a bit of a tough nut to crack, as you've got the challenge of trying to keep your train at a steady pace, because if you overshoot on the way down the hill, you'll probably derail. Alright, well, let's go back to the main menu and let's see if this changes anything on our task list before I round off this episode. Again, the train series will continue bit by bit. I'll just give it a few minutes. So, right, let's go back to the Settle-Carlisle line. Alright, so that was Learning the Ropes part 2. Next episode will be the final run of the 2nd part. So I thank you guys for watching, and I'll keep you guys updated on the series later this week. Hopefully later this week, but we'll see.